Ladies, gentlemen, Gungans, Jods, Candymundi Coneheads, with those extended foreheads and lifespans, and you know what? We did forget about the creepy-looking Plagueis people lurking in the shadows for reasons we may never know. You're watching Arnold Holiday News, the only news you'll ever need because, well, you have no other choice. People, we got a new kit reveal, and it's gonna start giving us little tidbits of what the upcoming Baylan Skull's gonna be looking like. We have the first new marquee for this mercenary team that we're building up to, and that's gonna be the lovely one and only Shin Hati. Oh, baby! Really interesting kit that we got going on here, and I'm even seeing like a little bit of like a plug and play viability, a little bit of like Inquisitor level stuff going on. Interesting mechanics that we gotta break down. So people, let's not keep you in too much more suspense. Let's get on over there and show you what we're gonna be cooking in this kitchen, my friends. So, first thing I wanna bring out, a couple of things. Tags, attacker, mercenary, brand new tag. In case you missed it, well, you missed it. You probably were vacationing in a cave in Tatooine. Big new mercenary tag coming. It's gonna be almost like bounty hunter plus level in terms of how many people are in this. It's kind of like a new scoundrel tag, basically, just a little bit more specific. Unaligned force users as well. And I want to kind of just go down a bit. We have this new Soldier of Fortune effect, which is kind of like the best way I can describe it right now. Sort of like target lock by itself doesn't really do anything. You need other characters to interact with it. Well, let me tell you, we're already seeing a lot of interesting interactions with Shin and the Soldier of Fortune. I can only assume we're gonna see more with Baylan, Merrick. That's also gonna be coming around the corner here. Further down the list, a couple of things. This is gonna be a marquee unit coming on later on this week, September 18th. So don't worry, our video game division is gonna be open so we can test out this big character right here. And then moving on, gonna be required for Relic 7 for Baylan Skull, but will not be required for Galactic Legend Ahsoka Tano. And with that said, folks, with all that preliminary stuff out of the way, it's time to get into the kit reveal itself. Lots of abilities, one basic, three specials. Yeah, this is basically a 4 ability plus unique ability thing that we got going on here. So let's get down to work. We have the basic ability, Fierce Foray. Deal physical damage to target enemy. Inflict critical chance down for 1 turn. The critical chance down, you might be like, that's kind of stupid. In general, yeah, it could be a little bit stupid, but here it's gonna be important because if she gets critically hit, she's gonna lose that Soldier of Fortune effect. That's how she's gonna interact with it, as we're gonna see down the road. If Shin Hati has 10 or more stacks of Soldier of Fortune, she inflicts critical chance down on all enemies for 1 turn instead. So as we're gonna see, as I said, it's not quite target lock because you're gonna get multiple effects. It's sort of like maybe momentum is maybe a better way of looking at it. Boba Fett's Sign of Django, the more stacks you have, the more stuff you could do with it, and we're gonna see so much more down the road. And then during Shin's turn, you're gonna call target other mercenary ally to assist. So in our initial testing, I don't know if they're gonna like add all those mercenaries in game. They're gonna throw the tag on for us to really kind of see this. This could be one of those characters where I'm just gonna let us know off the get-go. This could be a dud of a character day one if we don't really have much ways of interacting with mercenaries and Soldier of Fortune. But time will tell later on this week. If the target enemy was stunned, deal 10% more damage per stack of Soldier of Fortune on Shin, going up to a maximum of 100%. So again, she's an attacker. We're gonna need to wait to see what type of damage is on. Is this gonna be like Omega attacker damage? Or are we gonna be looking at something in the higher level of the spectrum? But I can tell you this, I've eyes on them. Special 1, deal physical damage to all enemies and inflict them with offense down and vulnerable for 2 turns. Now, before you say, oh man, well, this makes Jedi Knight Luke not as cool. Jedi Knight Luke stun can't be resisted. Well, unless someone has irresistible effects towards stun. Let's not get all into the weeds of that. But nonetheless, vulnerable, allowing us to critically hit more, and critically hitting is gonna be a big deal for Shin. The more crits you get, well, let's just say we're gonna get some more stuff, as we're gonna see throughout this kit. And of course, offense down, trying to maintain some of the damage that the enemy's throwing on you. And then Shin gets 10% critical avoidance. And again, we're seeing a theme, right? Critical chance, critical avoidance. You know, there's always like a theme every year, I swear, of Capital games. You know, this year they're really playing around with like critical chance. They're really messing with like protection. You know, Enoch has a lot of anti-critical hits. Then Gungans have a lot of protection stuff. And then Great Mother's like, oh, well, never mind. We're going to screw over your protection. So there's like kind of a theme. We're seeing a lot of anti-critical stuff going on this year. For the rest encounters, whenever each of these debuffs are resisted. So let's say the team had tenacity up on the other side. Well, that's going to ramp up pretty quickly with the offense down and vulnerable. So let's say, you know, there were 10 enemies or 5 enemies. We don't have 10 versus 10 yet. Oh boy, that'd be a little wild. You got 5 enemies. So if they resist 2 debuffs each, well, you do the math. You're going to get that critical avoidance up and running. Even if they do resist because of tenacity up, there's a benefit to it. All mercy, that's actually kind of nice, you know, because sometimes you use an ability, it's like, oh man, I didn't get any status effects out there. Well, at least there's kind of an upside to it. All mercenary allies gain 30% protection up. What am I saying? A lot of protection mechanics this year. For 2 turns, and remember, protection up is based off your max health, of course, so more max health means the greater that protection up can be. And then if Shin has 10 or more stacks of Soldier of Fortune, she gains 25% turn meter and increase the cooldowns of all enemies by 1. She's got a lot of like a little bit of this, a little bit of that. So we got like a little bit of Nihilus in here, and I promise you, there's even more Soldier of Fortune interactions that we have here. We're just getting started. So let's dive deeper, shall we? Dive, dive, dive! We'll take it from here. Special ability number 2, number deux, number dos, whatever, whatever you want to say. Deal physical damage to target enemy and stun them for 1 turn. Shin's gonna gain critical damage up and riposte, or as I like to say, riposte, for 2 turns. If Shin has 15 or more stacks of Soldier of Fortune, so now we're up in the number a little bit here. She's gonna attack again. Always scoring a critical hit if able, so, you know, assuming there's no critical hit immunity or stuff like that. And it increases the cooldown of clean escape by 1. Don't worry, we're gonna get there. Just hold your horses for a second. If the target enemy is inflicted with Purge, so, you know, you might be saying, oh, this could work with Inquisitors. Maybe. I think this is more kind of setting the stage for Merrick, the great Night Sister fart that I told you guys about. I think that's probably, we're going to see a little bit of Purge. Maybe Merrick's going to be another member for the Inquisitor team. I think they're going to create some, you know, stupid condition that's going to prevent him from being inside of the Inquisitor team. But nonetheless, I'm assuming this is going to more be for Merrick right here. Anyways, if the target enemy is inflicted Purge, Shin inflicts buff immunity on them for 2 turns and deals 10% bonus damage for each stack of Purge that they have, stacking to a maximum of 60%. As of now, well, assuming there's no bugs, you only can get 6 stacks of Purge. And again, just like the Inquisitors, more Purges means more benefits. You're going to get a little bit of that in here. So keep your tactile scanners open, because I think we got a lot more to learn about this character than meets the eye right now. And then getting to our unique ability, don't worry. We got another special ability that we got to break down here. You have no power. At the start of the encounter, Shin gains 25% accuracy, 50% offense until the end of the encounter. You know, there's been like a lot of weird accuracy stuff going on lately. Makes me wonder if there's like some like crazy evasion thing down the road. Please no. I'm probably looking too much into it. 50% off till the end of the encounter. Always nice, right? Big damage boost. And she ignores taunt effects during her turn. So sort of like maybe Captain Tarples, you know, maybe Jedi Knight Revan potentially, but still nice to have. Whenever Shin is critically hit, she gains Retribution for 2 turns and 150 speed. Stop Piangeshunt. I don't know how to say 150 in many other languages out there for 1 turn. That is a big boost of speed. I'm really curious to see what her base level speed's gonna be. Are they gonna make her a little slow and then this is gonna kind of compensate for that? Or is maybe she already gonna be fast and that's gonna double time her? Whew, 150 speed is no joke, just for a single critical hit. A single critical hit. Jeez. And if I'm reading this correctly, let me read this one more time. When Shin is critically hit, she gains Retribution for 2 turns and 150 speed for 1 turn. Maybe I'm looking too much into it, but I'm not seeing anything about like this can't stack. You know, you can't. This only happens once. So if she's critically hit 2 times in like a single turn, does she get 300 speed? Whew. If so, my gosh, you really don't want to hit this girl. And the first time Shin gains 10 or more stacks of Soldier of Fortune, she's granted the new ability, Clean Escape, for the rest of the battle. And if Soldier of Fortune stacks are below 10, Clean Escape ability can't be used. So they get to lock it in a little bit. It's kind of nice. I like those granted abilities. You know, yeah, what is it? The Insight thing with Moff Gideon, for example, Mando's insta-kill. It's almost like those getting Soldier of Fortune is kind of like getting a contract payout. That's kind of what it feels like a little bit. We got a Territory War Omicron. And boy, the Territory Omicrons, you know me, I'm not the biggest fan of territories, but man, you have to admit, a lot of these recent Territory War editions have been solid. This one's likely going to be one of them. While on territories and all allies are mercenary or non-galactic legend unaligned force users, hello, Supremator Kyle Ren. Rey, Inquisitors. At the start of the encounter, Shin gains 75% accuracy and even more speed. A 30 speed. All allies gain 50% max health. Max protection until the first time Shin is defeated. And then all light side enemies are immune to cooldown reduction for 2 turns or until the first time Shin is defeated. Ooh, man. Just imagine getting 50% max health, max protection on like an Inquisitor team. You know, the only problem is you're kind of breaking up some Inquisitor synergies, but nonetheless, a Supreme Kylo Ren team, you can throw it on a Rey team potentially. Yikes. Yeah, that's kind of a crazy deal to have there. But let's keep going on here. While enemies are inflicted with Purge, we're seeing more Purge synergy here. Minus 50% critical damage, minus 30 speed. So as far as I'm aware, this should probably stack well with the Reva team potential, Grand Inquisitor team, however you want to lead it inside of territories. Kind of double down on some of those speed reduction mechanics that they already have, man. You know, this is going to be interesting. I mean, we already see there's sometimes some weird interactions with Reva, like we've seen Reva with Malicos, Supreme Leader Kylo Ren, Reva with, you know, like even Hack Rey at one point. That we had a little brief stint of that. You can see why we're going to get opportunities. But again, I think this is more targeting Merrick down the road whenever he gets added. And then whenever Shin, whenever enemies attack 3 times out of turn, Shin gains 1 stack of Soldier of Forge. So teams that like to attack a lot out of turn, so Imperial Troopers, we're going to have some anti-stuff in regards to that. Then whenever Shin gains riposte, I know it's repost, some people take a little, yes, it's repost, and have 15 or more stacks of Soldier of Fortune, the cooldown of Clean Escape is decreased by 3, baby. Oh man, oh man, oh man. We're gonna get there. Check it out in a second. Whenever a light side enemy gains damage immunity, they are inflicted with fear for 1 turn, which can't be resisted, and Shin gains a bonus turn. What type of damage immunity stuff we got out there? Well, I mean, Gungans get damage immunity, right, with Jar Jar. What else we have here? Rey obviously has damage immunity mechanics out there. Being able to like just drop a little fear on them, so when they do get out of damage immunity, they can't do anything. That's kind of a big deal, people. Again, man, not saying this is Great Mothers level, of course. Great Mothers are on a whole different level at the moment. But man, these marquee characters, they are jam-packed and full stuff. Remember when we thought Django was like peak? You know, it's like, oh man, look at, he's got a rocket, he's got a flame, like, you know, she's definitely pushing a lot of boundaries. I'm seeing a lot of plug-and-play viability. Obviously, I'm assuming they're making Baylan Skoll some sort of top-performing Bo-Katan level character. Additionally, Clean Escape has these effects based on a number of Shin Hades that stacks of Soldier of Fortune. If you have 20 stacks, all mercenary allies are revived. 35 stacks, Shin Hades increases cooldowns of light side target enemy to their max value. And they give a great example of what that means. So let's just say, for example, there's an enemy, they have a cooldown of 5. She bumps it up straight to their max level. Or they gave a very extreme example, the most extreme example, BB-8's Illuminate Destiny would be set to 70. So yeah, big cooldown increases that we got going on here. But we're not done yet. We have the unique ability, Soldier of Fortune here. Shin Hati, at the start of the battle, Shin Hati gains 1 stack of Soldier of Fortune per Relic Amphire level. She has until the end of the battle. So if she's at Relic 9, well, you did a lot of the legwork. She's got 9 stacks of Soldier Forge. They've been really trying to encourage this thing, increase the relics by just adding some simple things. Hey, if you got more relics, you get more stacks of the shield generator. Hey, if you got more stacks of this, you get more relics, you get more plagues out there. If you got more relics, you got more Soldier of Fortune. Yeah. And a lot of the stuff that we've been seeing relies on having like 10 stacks. This gets the job done early on. Whenever Shin scores a critical hit or attacks at a turn, she gains 1 stack of Soldier of Fortune, which is why Vulnerable is going to be helpful, as we saw, trying to have her land critical hits. But on the flip side, whenever Shin is critical hit, she loses 1 stack of Soldier of Fortune, which is why we see a lot of like critical chance down and effects of that nature. And at the start of each mercenary ally's turn, they gain 5% critical and 5% critical damage stacking for each stack of Soldier of Fortune they have until the start of the next turn. So you can kind of consider this to also be related to this here. So if you have 9 stacks of Soldier of Fortune, you're going to have 45% critical chance and critical damage. And yeah, we already have 50% offense in case you forgot about that. But we have the granted ability, Clean Escape. Yeah. Here we go. Effects are based on a number of Shin Hati stacks of Soldier of Fortune. So remember, she's got to meet her Soldier of Fortune threshold, and it's kind of like a mini payout where you get this. 10 stacks. She dispels all her debuffs and gains 30% max health until the end of the encounter. All non-take allies gain stealth for 2 turns. That already sounds cool for 10 stacks. What about 20? She dispels all buffs on the target enemy. Shin Hati gains critical hit immunity and helps steal up for 2 turns and inflicts defense down on all enemies for 2 turns. But Donald, that's not enough for me. Okay, I'll sweeten the deal. Pull up the Grief card, Goooooood reverse card. Give you 35 stacks here. If you have 35 plus stacks, all mercenary allies gain foresight offense up for 2 turns. Shin Hati removes 100% Terminator and dazes all enemies for 2 turns, which can't be resisted. And don't forget, you're gonna get additional effects up here. She'll have those on 20 plus stacks. All mercenary allies are revived, so add that little clause to what we just read. And then at 35 plus stacks, she's gonna increase cooldowns of light side target enemy to their maximum value. This looks like a really fun character. It really does. I've been excited for the Balin Skull team. And man, we don't even know what Merrick's gonna offer. We don't know what Balin's gonna offer. We don't really see the full picture of the mercenaries put together yet, but man, this seems like a lot of fun, people. So again, I want to emphasize this is new. This is basically a new team. And just like Gungans, it kind of took a minute for us to kind of see the full picture. It's not going to be like Great Mothers where day one, we're destroying everything in the game. That's generally not the general rule of thumb when we do marquee testing. So later on this week on September 18th, when we get our hands on our inside of our video gaming division, we are going to see what we can do now. But all I can tell you this is just the beginning of a beautiful journey for Shin and the mercenaries. So until then, I'd like to hear your thoughts down below. Let me see what you guys are thinking of her. I would love to see, maybe you guys are seeing another angle that our video game division should be looking into. And more importantly, in terms of looking, all you good lookins, I want you to know how it's great to be in the Empire today.